All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the second episode of Sunday Morning Jitters podcast. We're here to talk about some NFL football today, baby. The state of the AFC. We're gonna have a good time doing it. Gonna talk about some news. But before we do that, let's just go around the room again. It's only episode 2. We still got to get everybody used to everybody here. So my name is Tyler. I'm also known as Cap Shorzy on Kick, YouTube, Twitter, all that good stuff. And to my left here, I guess on your screen, is this is BJ. There's his handles right there. I think it's his Twitter and Instagram, like that. And then down here on the bottom, last but not least, we got Derek. He's got his Insta plug down there as well. So if y'all have got any interested in giving everybody a follow, hey, please do. Jacob is not going to be joining us today. He's busy this weekend, and he's going to be busy for the next few weekends. So we're kind of sad that we don't get his input on the state of the AFC East because he is a Dolphins fan. That would have been pretty fun to listen to, get his opinions on. But yeah, let's no further ado, let's go ahead and get things kicked off here, man. We're going to talk about a little bit of news. I think BJ's got some stories lined up, so go ahead, take it away, man.
Yeah, for sure. The season's finally here, man. Like, I think the closer we get to Thursday, the farther away it seems. And I know that sounds like, what the hell you mean? It's just like I got to go through a whole nother week of work. I got to get all that. I got to cook dinner for 5 more days just to get to one football game on Thursday. But you know what? I'm happy it's back. But anyways, the news, the teams have finally got the 53-man roster. They got their 16-man practice squads. Some of the teams have maybe one person too much, so they got to cut somebody. But, so with the big news that happened recently, Jonathan Taylor, he was rumored to be traded. He ultimately did not end up getting traded. They actually kept him on the PUP list as well, which means he is out the first 4 games of the season. That's mandatory. There was 2 teams rumored to have made offers, and Ian Rappaport came out and confirmed that it was the Miami Dolphins that put in an offer, and also the Green Bay Packers, which is kind of a surprise. They have Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon. You think that would be good enough for him, but they put in an offer for Jonathan Taylor. And ultimately he did not end up getting traded. The Dolphins the Colts rumored that they asked the Dolphins for Jalen Waddle and maybe even Christian Wilkins. Just crazy. Ultimately he did not end up getting traded. Just real quick, guys. Who's the winners in this situation? Who's the losers in this situation? Just real quick.
In my opinion, the Colts are the winners, man. They get Jonathan Taylor on a cheap contract for the last year or 2 of his deal. I don't think there was any chance he was going to get traded in the first place, just because of the state of running back in the NFL right now and how teams view that from a salary cap perspective. How they actually impact winning the running back position is not usually worth what you're going to have to pay or give up for him. So, yeah, in my opinion, the Colts win. They get him for cheap. They get to keep him around.
Yeah, I'd say they also needed him for, like I said, Anthony Richardson, just because normally your first year rookie QBs, they normally they lean on their running game a lot. But he has his own legs as well. But I think they didn't want to trade him anyway because they needed that veteran status, like I said, of the running back that he gives him. He's an elite player, so obviously, I'd say the Colts are the winners. Jonathan Taylor, like I said, he kind of lost this one, but who knows in the future what he has planned. So
Yeah, I definitely agree. Having Jonathan Taylor back there with the rookie quarterback Anthony Richardson, I think that'll be huge for them. Colts obviously get to keep Jonathan Taylor, whether he plays or not. That's up to him. Pretty sure he is going to play. I think the Le'Veon Bell situation kind of scared every single running back in the league from holding out. So I don't see that happening. Moving on. Wide receiver Cooper Kupp, he suffered his second hamstring injury this year. Just absolutely brutal. I mean, Sean McVay is calling it day to day, but the last time I heard somebody was day to day, I think they missed like 3-4 weeks. So for you fantasy drafters out there, maybe not take them so early this year. Chris Jones of the Kansas City Chiefs, defensive tackle, he's still holding out. One of the most important pieces on their defense. He went on Twitter one day and they asked him, "How long can you hold out? How long can you take these fines?" He said, "Week 7." So he's prepared to go the long haul until he's paid. Speaking of great defensive players, Nick Bosa, he's ready to get paid. He's expected to be the highest paid defender in the NFL until Micah Parsons gets paid, I think next year. And then in other news, longtime kickers of teams, Will Lutz from the Saints, he got traded. Dustin Hopkins, he got traded. Dicker, the kicker, won the job over in LA. So, a lot of small time trades with the kickers have been made. Not any big time trades, which is actually surprising. I'm really surprised the Eagles didn't do anything besides trade for a third string tight end. But, then of course, Thursday nights are our first game, Lions at the Chiefs. That should be a really fun one.
Yes, sir. That'll be a fun one to start the season. Hopefully, a lot of points put on the board. Are they playing that in KC or is it in Detroit? Do y'all know?
In KC.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's what I was. Oh, wait. Oh, open it in Arrowhead. Oh, yes.
That's gonna be legendary, man. That atmosphere in KC is something else. What a way to start the fucking season. What a way, man. Be a good one. All right. Well, if that's all we got for news, man, let's go ahead and get to the meat and potatoes of the podcast today. We are going to be discussing the AFC as a whole, the state of the AFC. We're going to go division by division, give you a little bit of a breakdown, how we think things are going to play out. And these breakdowns are kind of rough. They're kind of hard to do, man, because every season you feel like you got a handle on things, and then every season there's like 4 teams from the last year that were in the playoffs that don't make the playoffs because the NFL is just a parity league, man. That's how it's set up. That's how it's designed to work. And that's usually how it works. So these predictions are rough, but we're going to get to it. Let's start things off with the AFC North. I'll be giving some input. I'll be giving some input on this one. Let's go ahead and start with the Cleveland Browns. They're an interesting team. It's 18th in points per game, 20th in points allowed last season. But that was also without Deshaun Watson at quarterback. So it's going to be it could be a potentially explosive offense this year, I think. It's possible, depending on what you're going to get from Deshaun. He hasn't played football in I don't even know how long. It feels like it's been 2 years. I could be wrong on that, but it's been a minute. We don't know exactly what we're going to get from this man. I do know the last time that I watched him play in a regular season game, it was not pretty. I hadn't seen a whole lot since that one game that I watched, but it was like, holy shit, man, this dude is missing some of the easiest passes it's possible to make in the league. So we'll see. They've got the firepower, man. Running out there with Amari Cooper. They brought in Elijah Moore this offseason, Donovan Peoples-Jones, David Njoku, Nick Chubb. Like, there's firepower on the offense. It's just whether Deshaun Watson is going to do what they paid the man to do, which is ball out with that fully guaranteed contract. They paid him to be elite. So is he going to be that elite Deshaun Watson? Or are we going to get Deshaun Watson that was missing slants? Which one are we going to get? Let's move on to the Steelers. The Steelers are always a fun one to look at, not because they're a fun team. They're actually an incredibly boring team that just runs the ball and play defense. But they got Mike Tomlin, man. Mike Tomlin doesn't lose. He's at least going to get you to 500. I was thinking 8 wins. It came out 800. They're at least going to get you to 500. I don't know how much of an impact they're going to make in the grand scheme of conference. The conference is loaded, so I don't think they're in the debate for conference champions, but I don't think they're for the division really either. It depends on Kenny Pickett, man. If it's kind of like the Browns situation, they got some firepower on offense. I think not as much firepower as the Browns, but they've got Deontay Johnson. With whatever you think about him, I know he's got some drop issues. But George Pickens, I think, is a stud. I love George Pickens. I think he's an absolute monster. And if he had somebody who could get him the ball, he could be elite very quickly. Makes the most ridiculous circus catches. Najee Harris, even whatever you think about him, Jalen Warren, better. So, their team overall is going to be very Kenny Pickett dependent, pretty much like the Browns, in my opinion. With how Deshaun Watson does, because they were 26th in points per game last year, 10th in points allowed. So, Mika Fitzpatrick and TJ Watt, they're going to hold it down on the defense. The Pittsburgh Steelers are going to do what they do, run the ball and play defense. So if Kenny Pickett can step in and be effective, maybe we talk about double-digit wins, but division's tough. The AFC as a whole is tough. It's gonna be a rough year for them just all around. The Ravens, 19th in points per game last year, 3rd in points allowed. I didn't realize their defense was this good last year, but they had very solid defense last year. I think the only person really they lost Marcus Peters and they lost Calais Campbell. So there's a couple decent sized hits. Calais Campbell, a longtime vet. Marcus Peters, not a long time vet, but he is a vet of the game for a while. I think the biggest difference here is going to be in this 19th in points per game, because they've added quite a decent amount of weapons to the offense. Last year they ran out Rashad Bateman and Devin Duvernay as their week 1 starters at wide receiver, and this year they're going to be running out Zay Flowers, OBJ, and Rashad Bateman. Hopefully, who's not dealing with lagging injuries this year, but they've got some weapons. Lamar Jackson got paid. They got a new offensive coordinator. Mark Andrews is back. He's already dealing with some health stuff, but Mark Andrews is going to be back. I think the biggest thing for this offense as a whole, really the entire team, comes down to the health. If Lamar can stay healthy, because he's missed 9 games the last 2 seasons. J.K. Dobbins has only played in 8 games in 2 years. You got the constant health worries from OBJ. How long is he going to last? You got the constant health issues with Mark Andrews. How long is he going to last? If their offense can stay pretty healthy, somewhat healthy for most of this year, I think the Ravens are in a good spot, and they could end up winning this division. But it all depends on health, in my opinion. It's going to be tough though. It's going to be tough though, because the Bengals are just a really good team all around. Last year, 7th in points per game, 6th in points allowed. Super talented, super youthful. They're running out Joe Burrow at quarterback, who's still got to get paid, but that's a conversation for another day. Running out, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Joe Mixon, adding Irv Smith into the mix this year. A loaded offense on the verge of being elite as a team. There's really not much more to say about that. They top 10 in offense, top 10 in defense. Really didn't lose. They lost Jesse Bates, so that's going to hurt the defense a little bit. But as a whole, they maintained pretty much everybody on the team, and they're set up for another run this year, I think. Unless they get the butt into the stick in the scheduling, and this is one of those things to where the NFL you were good last year, and you were one of the teams that ends up being shit this year just because of parity and stuff. But you really can't predict that. It just kind of happens, man. It's shocking every year. But I think the Bengals are probably the betting favorites to win this division, and they're probably the safest bet to win this division. The Ravens got a chance, but they've got so many health concerns, and it's just risky all around. So in my opinion, the Bengals would be the AFC North victors this year. Either one of y'all have something to add to that?
Yeah, I think someone has to win this division, someone has to lose this division, right? Yeah, that's got to happen. But there's a lot of talent within it, and a lot of the questions are coming from the quarterbacks. Joe Burrow got hurt in training camp this year. Can Deshaun Watson turn back the clock? I guess. I mean, he's only 27 years old, but I mean, it's been a while since we've seen him play elite football. Lamar Jackson, can he stay healthy? Kenny Pickett, I think he could take that step, but I think the Steelers are just not all the way there yet. I like their offense. I like Mike Tomlin, great coach. They're always gonna, like you said, are always gonna, have a winning season. And I don't see that changing this year. I think Kenny Pickett's gonna take a step forward, but it should be a pretty good division. Unfortunately, somebody has to finish last in it.
You're not wrong, Derek. Who do you think wins this division, man?
I would say the Bengals. I think the Bengals still have a solid team. Like I said, I mean, right now I'd say it's more 75-25 with the Bengals versus the Ravens. I think the Ravens still also have a chance to, like I said, to win it. But again, like you said, it all comes down to health and who can stay healthy, who actually balls out, and who can. Because it looks like they both have all studs on their team. I think the Ravens have like what 5 first round wide receivers on their roster, so he has weapons. It's just Lamar Jackson staying healthy and his O line keeping him healthy.
We know who's not winning it. The Browns are not winning it. I don't think the Browns have won the division in 40 years. They're not winning it. But so I don't know if that's true or not. I probably just made that up, but it feels like it. I definitely think it's between the Bengals and the Ravens, and I like the Ravens. I like the offense, and I love the defense. So I think the Ravens are gonna, like, all right, it's Lamar Jackson's time. It's time for Lamar Jackson to finally get him a nice playoff run, and I think he's due.
That's a fair assessment, man. I mean, maybe their style changes a little bit this year. Instead of letting Lamar just run wild all the time and send him on quarterback draws up the gut and stuff, maybe you say, hey, this is a man that we just paid. We got him some weapons on offense. Let's run him a little bit less. Let's get the ball in some of these playmakers' hands. Let's let them take some hits. Let's try to keep him upright for 17 games. That would, in my opinion, be ideal, but we'll see where it goes.
Do you see him, like I said, dumping it off to J.K. Dobbins a lot though? Like do you see him like dumping it off, like as in like he sees a running lane, but it looks a little bit stuffy, and then he tosses it to J.K. Dobbins, or you just think he's going to go and take it still?
From a fantasy standpoint, since I have J.K. Dobbins, yeah, I would love for him to dump it off to J.K. Dobbins. But, J.K. Dobbins hasn't really been much of a pass catcher. But, like J.K. Dobbins said, we'll see. We'll see.
From a fantasy standpoint, someone who owns Lamar Jackson, I hope he tucks the ball and takes off with that bitch. So. All right, let's go ahead and make our way out west to the land of high-powered offenses and disappointment. Russell Wilson. Would any one of y'all want to take the lead on the AFC West?
Yeah, I'll take it. So, this was a super disappointing division. Last year, we was like, okay, this could be one of the best divisions. You got Devontae Adams went to the Raiders, right? You had him paired up with one of his friends, Derek Carr. I think they played together in college. We thought that was going to be a really good tandem. Really disappointed. Russell Wilson ended up going to the Broncos. Was like, okay, the Broncos have a super, super good defense. All they need is a quarterback to come in and take this ready to win football team and go on the playoffs. One of the most, if not the most disappointing team last year. The Chiefs always going to be the Chiefs. They won that division handily. It really doesn't matter who you throw out there with Patrick Mahomes. He's going to do what Patrick Mahomes do, especially when you got a Hall of Fame coach in Andy Reid. And the Chargers, they made the playoffs, but had one of the biggest chokes in playoffs that I can remember. I mean, that was absolutely disturbing. Shout out to my boy Dougie P over there in Jacksonville for putting that together. We still love you, Doug. But I kind of see this division going in a similar way this year. I think the Chiefs kind of have a hold on it now. I think the Chargers can be a lot more competitive this year. They thought they was going to have a good defense last year. It was pretty average run defense. They thought was going to be a strong suit of theirs. It was not. They got gashed in the run game. They bring in Quentin Johnston from TCU, which I think he's going to be a bust. I just think TCU produced bust. You can clip that. I don't like TCU. I don't like what they produce. But I think that the addition of him can be good. There's a lot of tall people over there. I think Mike Williams like 6'5", Keenan Allen's like 6'6", and Quentin Johnston's like 6'5". A lot of tall people over there. Justin Herbert's going to have to be throwing up a lot of 50-50 balls. Austin Eckler, he came back quietly, kind of worked his way back to the team. He was also looking for a new contract, looking to be traded. Ultimately did not, but I think they're going to be good. I think they can challenge the Chiefs for the division if the Chiefs have a step back, but I mean, it just sometimes just doesn't happen when you're the Chiefs. You just don't take that step back. But maybe the wide receiver room finally catches up to them, and maybe Patrick Mahomes like, okay, maybe I kind of do need above average wideout. They're still waiting to get Chris Jones back. We'll see how that affects them. But I definitely just see the Chiefs taking this division again. The Raiders, the Jimmy Garoppolo edition. I mean, I'm not seeing it. I know he win, but I don't see that working out well. I just don't, I think they can be maybe a 500 team, maybe at the end of the season, they're a game or two out and they're relying on some other people to help them get into the playoffs and unfortunately just maybe miss the mark. I can see that happening. The Broncos, I believe in Russell Wilson. I think Russell Wilson had a terrible head coach last year, Nathaniel Hackett. I mean, he got fired before the season even ended. They bring in Sean Payton and you got Jerry Jeudy. I mean, unfortunately, he's been suffering injuries, but you got Cortland Sutton, you got Marvin Mims. They kind of beefed up that O-line, and the defense is always going to be good. I can see the Broncos getting into the playoffs, maybe not winning the division, but I can see, them sneaking into the playoffs. But I definitely do have the Chiefs taking this one kind of handily.
That is a fair assessment. I don't disagree with anything you said. Derek, you have something to add on this one, or you want me to take it?
I'll take it. Like I said, what BJ said with I'll start with the Broncos. The Broncos, they said they're getting back Javonte Williams after blowing out his, like I said, his whole knee. His whole knee was destroyed. So I'm kind of excited to see what he's gonna do. Like I said, except I know beginning of the season, week 1 up to probably week 4, he's probably gonna be a little raw still coming back from that. But also with the injury of Jerry Jeudy, I think Cortland Sutton and Marvin Mims can step their game up to help out Russell Wilson, but that's going to be a thing where Russ has got to go back to being Russ from Seattle, because if not, like I said, he's still going to be the quarterback because they paid him pretty heavily, but I think he can get back. I think he really can do what he used to do. Now that he has Sean Payton as his quarterback, as his head coach with the Chargers. Like I said, they got like I said, VJ said it best. They got a basketball team playing wide receiver. They got a lot of tall guys up there. Raiders. I said Raiders are. I'm kind of glad that I said Josh Jacobs signed he signed the free tag right, or did he get a year?
He kind of did what Saquon did and just took a little bit
He
extra
got the
money.
year, yeah. He got the year, so at least he's back. He's gonna be back, and I think he's still gonna be top running backs, and like I said, because they do have a good old line that'll let him run. Jimmy G. Jimmy G, I think he's gonna do what he's gonna do. I don't really believe in him too much, but I still think Devontae Adams is still gonna be fantasy relevant because Devontae Adams is that man. I think I like him. Like I said, they also got the addition of Michael Mayers, which I think he's going to be the safety blanket for Jimmy G because Jimmy G loves his tight ends. And then I can't really say nothing, but I think the Chiefs, like that's the people I'm going with. The Chiefs are going to win this division. I said they added the additions of Rasheed Rice. They finally getting Justin Ross back. Uh, I'm kind of sad that Deneric Prince, like I said, he didn't make the 53-man roster, but he made the practice squad. But you got Clyde Edwards-Helaire back there, the three-headed monster of running back that they got with Isaiah Pacheco and Jerick McKinnon. So Patrick Mahomes is going to do Patrick Mahomes stuff, and he has them as his running back and his protection. And Travis Kelce is going to do it. And like I said, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, they're going to, like I said, do what they do. They're still running at MVS. So I mean, they still got the squad. They're still going to come back and win that division.
I agree with the consensus here, man. It's a good division. Got a lot of fun players, a lot of fun names, but the Chiefs are just too good. Patrick Mahomes is too good. Andy Reid's too good. The GOAT, Travis Kelce, is too good. I said what I said. The GOAT. One interesting thing I did want to add about the Chargers, though, real quick, that I don't think enough people are talking about. Last year, they were 13th in points per game on offense, which is pretty decent. You know, it's all right. But they did, over the offseason, add Kellen Moore, who was the offensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys, who, ever since he's taken the reins, he's consistently had them firmly in the top 10. I don't know the exact numbers, but I think they were top 5 for like the last 2-3 years, whatever it is. I think he's going to come in and change up what they're doing, and he's going to get them up there. If they were 13th last year, I could see them pushing top 5 this year. They might not quite make it. I don't think they're quite as talented as the Cowboys offense of the last year, but they do have weapons. They've got big pieces in play. They've got Justin Herbert, who's got a cannon of an arm. They've got tall dudes all over the place, and Kellen Moore likes to sling the rock. He likes them deep option routes, baby. So I could definitely see them making their way into the top 5, if not just right outside top 5. But KC wins the division.
It kind of reminds me of that funny Mike McCarthy quote when he said, Kellen Moore wants to run up the score. I want to run the fucking ball. I thought that was hilarious.
That made absolutely no sense to me. I don't know what that means. You tell me you want less points on the board, my friend? Maybe we should reevaluate here.
Like I really want to hand Zeke this ball.
That's what I'm saying. It's a weird place to put yourself in as a head coach by saying something like that, but luckily you don't have to deal with whispers in your ear from upstairs being the OC in LA compared to Dallas. But it is what it is, man. So good discussion there. Let's go on, rotate our way across the conference. We're going to be heading down south now. Derek, I know you said you had some stuff lined up for the AFC South. You want to take the lead on this one?
Oh, yeah. All right. Where would I start? I'll start with the Colts. We've already talked about Jonathan Taylor. So, like I said, we got the whole situation with Jonathan Taylor. I don't think we need to go back into it again. But like I said, they also have Anthony Richardson. He was named their starting quarterback for the year. You know, unless something foreseen happens during practice, which I hope doesn't. But he's going to be the starting quarterback. You have the new also addition of Josh Downs. You still have their wide receiver core of Alec Pierce and Michael Pittman. There we go. Yeah, I almost went blank there for a second. With the addition of, like I said, and then, like I said, you still got, I think their tight end room is still pretty lackluster with Mo Alley Cox. Like I said, it's the AFC South. Like I said, it's not too good. So I don't know. I wouldn't know who I don't know what I'd classify their rank in this division is. But I'd say it's probably closer towards, like I said, the higher end myself, like probably like 2, maybe 3. And then I'll go to the Texans. Like I said, they have like I said they added a lot of. Like I said they got the second and the third overall pick in this year's draft with C.J. Stroud and uh, Will Anderson Jr. So C.J. Stroud, like I said, his preseason games has been constantly getting better. Like I said, first one was pretty. It was rough out there for him, but over time, he's starting to get the reins and hold that team down and be the leader that he is in that team. You have wide receivers Noah Brown, Nico Collins is number one most likely, Tank Dell, Xavier Hutchinson, and then the also forgotten about John Mechie. He's coming back from his leukemia. Like I said, so they just have a bunch of wide receivers in their. Oh, also Robert Woods, yeah. So they just got. Like I said, they got one veteran, but then they got a whole bunch of young players trying to fight for a wide receiver room. Who's going to stand out? Nobody really knows. They got the tight end in Dalton Schultz. They traded from Dallas Cowboys. And in the run game, like I said, they have Mike Boone, Damian Pierce, Devin Singletary. Like I said, Damian Pierce, I think he's still going to hold the reins as RB1. I don't really think Devin Singletary, in my opinion, is he's going to be there, but only kind of sort of when in a pass catching, third down back maybe position. But I think Damian Pierce is still going to hold until he goes, hey, I kind of don't want this job anymore. I'm not doing what I used to get. He's going to give up the reins. So I think that's going to be the situation over there in the Texans. And then I'll move over to the Titans. The Titans, like I said, still running with quarterback Ryan Tannehill. But you also have the two people who are fighting for the backup position, and Will Levis and Malik Willis. In my opinion, I think Will Levis may win it, but Malik Willis has shown in the preseason games that he's willing to fight. He doesn't want to give up that spot. Then you have, of course, their main focus on the team and Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is going to be their running back one. They're going to run the ball, but they do have backup and new acquisition of Tajay Spears, which I think from Tulane, he's going to be doing a lot of work himself. I think as whenever Derrick Henry does, if he gets hurt or does get tired, their wide receiver room they got also boosted up with the addition of DeAndre Hopkins that they signed. They traded from he got waived from the Arizona Cardinals and signed with the Titans. They got Treylon Burks back. Like I said, he's coming back off of his LCL knee injury. He's going back to practice. He should be ready for week 1. Then, like I said, other than that, in the wide receiver room, they really don't have much. I can't really say. I mean, I think Kyle Phillips, he's out, but they really don't have much in their wide receiver room because they're a big run-heavy team. They want to run the ball. They're just going to keep running the ball. Like I said, they also had tight end Chig Okonkwo. Like I said, he's going to probably be their he's going to be their probably third option in the pass game. It's going to be, like I said, D-Hop 1, Treylon Burks 2, and then Chig Okonkwo as their third option in the passing game. And then we move over to what I think is going to be the division winners and the Jaguars. They got, like I said, the Prince himself, Trevor Lawrence. He's just been constantly getting better and better every year. They have their running back game in Travis Etienne and newly acquired Tank Bigsby, which I think is pretty much going to be, in my opinion, it's going to be more like 65-35 in the favor of Etienne. Their wide receiver room, Like I said, they have Calvin Ridley back from his suspension. They traded him from the Atlanta Falcons. They have Zay Jones and Christian Kirk, as well as number 2 and number 3, because Calvin Ridley's going to take number 1. He's been over there. He's been putting in work. He's coming back from his suspension, so he wants to prove why he still belongs in the league. They also have their addition of Parker Washington, which is going to be their 4th backup wide receiver. And then they have Evan Ingram as their tight end. Like I said, they just signed him to a 3-year deal. He's going to be, I think he's going to still be able to produce like he did last year. Then you have his backup, most likely in Brenton Strange. He got drafted 2nd round from Penn State. He's going to be, like I said, the backup for Evan Ingram. And that's what I have as the AFC South. Any of you guys have anything else to add?
Yeah, man. The AFC South as a whole is an incredibly boring division. It's not fun to talk about. It's not fun to watch. There's really nothing exciting about this division whatsoever. The Texans, 31st in points per game. The Colts, 30th in points per game. The Titans, 28th in points per game. And then you've got the crown jewel of the AFC South, the Jags, who were 10th in points per game. And I think the Jags win this division just based on the fact, I mean, they're a pretty decent team, but every other team in their division is just so bad, so mediocre. Got a lot of question marks everywhere. The Texans will at least be fun to watch, giving up as much as they did to go get the people they think were their guys. C.J. Stroud and Will Anderson. It's like something you see at Madden. Like you take your 2nd overall pick of the draft, and they're like, "Fuck it, we're trading everything else. Let's get up to number 3 too. Let's get Will Anderson." I thought that was cool. But they got some fun people to watch. Tank Dell and Damian Pierce and all that. They're also one of the biggest shit shows in the NFL. The Texans are just a clusterfuck every year. Colts got a lot of question marks, like you were talking about. Anthony Richardson will be fun to watch, and they do have quite a few weapons with Michael Pittman, and I think Josh Downs is one of the biggest steals of the draft in the 3rd round, so that's going to be interesting to watch that develop. Titans are just boring, man. Run the football. It really doesn't matter who you have at wide receiver because we're running the football. So the Jags, I think, win this division by default unless a miracle happens somewhere else. Maybe they start throwing the ball in Tennessee a little bit and open that up, but if not, the Jags they're just better. BJ, what you think?
I want to take a second real quick to shit on the Colts. I don't like the Colts. I don't like their front office. I think Chris Ballard and their front office got a lot of praise a couple years ago because they were good at finding talent and developing their players and things like that. But I kind of thought it was overrated. Now, we gave them a break whenever Andrew Luck retired out of nowhere. We kind of gave him a break. So, okay, cool. But then you sign Matt Ryan, 40-year-old Matt Ryan. Then you trade for Carson Wentz. You traded first for Carson Wentz. And now you're dealing with this Jonathan Taylor situation, and he's upset. And you have your owner and GM going on Twitter publicly saying no one will miss Jonathan Taylor if he's out of the league by tomorrow. Like, I don't like
Ridiculous.
this franchise. I love Jonathan Taylor. I love Quentin Nelson. I love Shaq Leonard. Like, I love the players on our team. I just really despise their front office. And I hope that they lose every single game this season. And I think the Jags going to take it. Like I said, shout out to Dougie P. I think he's going to take that offense to new heights, especially if Travis Etienne can stay healthy. Calvin Ridley, I think that's just such a super, super good addition. Him and Christian Kirk, that's going to be fire, along with the super athletic Evan Ingram in the slot. Holy shit.
Lots of firepower on that Jaguars team. Lots of firepower indeed. I mean, you know what's
my bad.
No, good.
I was just saying because it all comes down to, like I said, it's just the Jags are going to win it because it's just you just got rookies everywhere else. He's like I said, Trevor Lawrence. It's only his 3rd year in the league, and like I said, now he's the vet in that division. You like, it's just normally you don't see rookies coming over and winning divisions, even though everybody has rookie quarterbacks.
Question. Did you call him the Prince?
Oh yeah, he's the prince. Yeah,
Okay.
The
Okay,
chosen
Prince.
one, our Lord and
the
Savior
chosen
Trevor
one.
Lawrence. Yeah, they're gonna be a fun team to watch, man. I think the Tank Bigsby addition too in the draft was kind of a sneaky pick because personally I think Tank Bigsby is a stud, and I think he might actually push for some starter reps there. Maybe Travis Etienne more comes in like a passing down situation and becomes their scat back kind of, not necessarily a gadget guy because that would be kind of disrespectful to how explosive and talented Travis Etienne is. But I could see Tank Bigsby taking more of the between the tackles reps.
Yeah, the goal line work for sure.
Oh yeah, goal line work for sure. But their offense as a whole is going to be fun to watch. If nobody else has anything to add to this, we're gonna make our way out east to the highly anticipated AFC South, man. Super, super talented, loaded AFC South or AFC East. It's gonna be a fun one, man. Anybody want to volunteer to take the lead on this one?
Yeah, I wanna go on this one. Yeah, like I said, it's gonna be a really, really good division, man. I mean, I think we all know the big news. Aaron Rodgers went to the Jets. Um, they were like the Jets were kind of a ready to win football team. They have a really good defense. They have incredible weapons on offense. I mean, when you have the offensive rookie of the year and the defensive rookie of the year on the same team, you got you got something cooking. And they definitely got something cooking over there. Aaron Rodgers. I mean, now shout out to Aaron Rodgers because that's one of the last places I would have went. Ain't no way I'm going over there to compete with Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert. No fucking way. I'm staying my ass in the NFC. But shout out to him. He went over there. That's going to be such a good fight between him and Josh Allen. That's going to be really fun. Speaking of Josh Allen, the Bills, they're waiting to kind of get over that hump, and during the off season there was some rumbles that Stephon Diggs wanted out, that him and Josh Allen aren't getting along. I think the first game when Stephon Diggs puts up 150 yards and 2 touchdowns, we can all put that to sleep. That the defense, the Bills defense has to show up. They've been pretty good, but they just need to be that elite defense that we think they can be. Um, and they need a second wide receiver to step up. Gabe Davis, I mean, people had a lot of hope for him last year. He was solid in some places, just couldn't really you know be that guy that they wanted him to be. They spent the first round pick on Dalton Kincaid, and you know whatever you think about Dawson Knox, I always thought Dawson Knox was a solid guy. I don't watch too much of him to know why they wanted to take Dalton Kincaid. Maybe it's more about Dalton Kincaid than it is about Dawson Knox. But that's a safe bet that Dalton Kincaid's going to be featured in this offense heavily. Maybe he ends up being the second, target on that team. Who knows? Um, Good running back, and James Cook. People are high on him. I'm not very high on him. But between the Bills and the Jets, that's going to be super fun. The Dolphins, don't forget about them. I mean that Tua with Hill and Waddle, that offense is always going to be explosive. As long as Tua can keep his head off the ground, that's going to be a very, very good team. Um, Jalen Ramsey, my boy, man, that fucking sucks for him. So he's gonna be out till December. So that defense kind of took a hit, but I think the offense is just gonna be way too explosive that it just really doesn't matter. And they obviously were in the news. They were trying to get Jonathan Taylor, so they're obviously wanting to upgrade at running back, which we need them to. I think fantasy fantasy lovers and just NFL people in general want to see that offense with an elite running back because they can be extremely, extremely good with an elite running back. The Patriots, I do not care about them. I don't believe in Mac Jones. Um, I'm not about to call Bill Belichick overrated, but I want to say it, but I'm not going to say it. And I don't believe in the wide receiver room. They got Tyquan Thornton, they got Kayshawn Boot from LSU. Like you see them, you're like, okay, I can see the potential, and then the offense is just never good unless you're Ramondre Stevenson. Yeah, it's really nothing to talk about over there. The defense is always going to be good. That's just what they do. That's their identity. They're going to play technically sound defense, and they want to, have an offense to match that. But I just don't believe in the Mac Jones, Bailey Zappi led Patriots. And to pick a winner in this division, man, that's tough. That's super tough. I want to say the Bills take it, but I could definitely see a world where anyone besides the Patriots can win it. I really do. They could be the NFC East, where three teams in that division make the playoffs, and yeah, it's hard for me to pick a winner. If I had to, I'd say the Jets. I say the Jets.
Like that. That's a solid prediction. You can't really go too wrong with that. Like I said earlier in the show at the very beginning, it's hard to do these predictions because there's so much turnover, and every year there's something new, something different. There's shit you didn't expect. Winners become losers, losers become winners, and this is one of those divisions where you're just looking at it, you're like, man, shit, I really don't know. The Jets or the Bills last year, second in points allowed and second in points per game, and everybody knows how talented they are on offense and defense. Just absolutely loaded, stacked, top to bottom, and still haven't managed to get over the hump. And you got the new kid in town, Aaron Rodgers, making his trip to New York after spending all his time in small Green Bay, Wisconsin, soaking up all the limelight there. It just got that, like you said, offensive and defensive player of the year. Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner, man, they got a lot of talent too. It's hard to just looking at it. The Jets last year, 29th in points per games. Their defense was fourth in points allowed, but man, I'm genuinely curious, how high of a jump do we think having a good quarterback is going to take this points per game? Because I know they had dog shit quarterbacks for as long as you can remember with the Jets, all the way back to the AFC championships with Mark Sanchez type. Unless you want to count Ryan Fitzpatrick in there as a decent quarterback. 29th in points per games. How high are we expecting that to go with Aaron Rodgers? Because they got talent. They got a lot of talent on offense.
I can definitely see maybe a top 15 type jump. And if you take a top 15 offense with a top 5 defense, I think that's a recipe for a pretty good team.
Yeah, I would say they jump up pretty high as well. Pretty, like as B just said, top 15. Like I said, you got, Garrett Wilson and like I said, Sauce Gardner. Like I said, they're just going to iron sharpens iron, and I think they're going to at least be highly offensive. Like I said, it's just going to jump way higher. Aaron Rodgers at the quarterback.
Just to put things in perspective, when y'all say top 15, I just went and looked. Number 15 last year in the NFL offensively points per game was the Atlanta Falcons at 21.5 points. So are we going over that? We going under?
So, yeah, for sure. Yeah, they're going to do better than I think.
I don't know what the. Go ahead.
I mean, that's kind of insane. I didn't even know that Falcons were top 15 in points per game. I mean, how dog shit were the Jets last year on offense? Holy shit.
Oh, yeah, the Jets were terrible last year. They averaged 17.4 points a game was what they averaged. So, pretty rough. But
I think Zach Wilson needed Aaron Rodgers to come in because he was too high on himself. He thought he was king shit, and then now he got humbled real quick.
Hey man,
but he's learning though. He's actually learning from Aaron Rodgers. So I at least applaud him for that. I give him kudos.
If I
He
was
humbled himself.
if I was a first round draft pick and I was going around banging all my friends' moms, I'd probably think I was pretty hot shit too. So, it is what it is. This might be the biggest turnaround in NFL history from one season to another in points per games. I don't know what the record is, but if anyone's even keeping track of that, but going from 29th to what they could possibly be, just because Garrett Wilson is so fucking good, it might be some kind of record. And the Dolphins, like BJ was saying, offensively, they've got another just fun team to watch, man, with Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. If Tua can stay healthy, that's the only thing that holds me back, because I'm like, man, Tua feels like the Dolphins season is being held together with like chewing gum and sticky tack, just because like Tua lands the wrong way one time and it's over. You ain't gonna be competing. So I think personally, go ahead.
They go to back up Skylar Thompson like they did again.
Yeah, I think personally, the winner I would pick for the East is the Jets, just because there's got to be some kind of new. Every year there's teams that were in the playoffs that are out, and teams that were out that are in. I think the Jets are primed to make a playoff run here, and I guess we'll see. It's gonna be fun when the Jets and Bills play this year. I know that much. It's gonna be a fun game to watch.
I think they open. Do they open against each other?
Oh, I hope so.
I think they do. I'm gonna look it up real quick.
Either way, that's gonna be fun. The Patriots are just an afterthought, man. It's play defense and then let Tom Brady carry your offense, but Tom Brady's not there anymore, so it is what it is. People don't really talk about how bad the Patriots are at drafting, but they're fucking terrible at drafting. If you just go back and look at their draft history, they have no clue what they're doing in the draft. Now they're good at acquiring players, getting players to do a specific job, and getting rid of people right when they're about to hit that wall. But when it comes to drafting, the Pats are terrible, and you don't have the GOAT to bail you out anymore on offense. Well,
I said, I guess I'll give my opinions on what I said with the Patriots. Like I said, they're obviously not going to go. They're not going to win this division at all. Like I said, they have Mac Jones. Like I said, they acquired Mike Gesicki this year. I think they acquired Juju Smith-Schuster as well from the Chiefs. But those are pretty much your only two wide receivers, like I said, in that group. And I think it's the same as what BJ said that the Bills did with Dalton Kincaid. Like I said, they brought in Mike Gesicki because he's just he's not going to be your inline tight end. He's going to get out there on the slide. He's going to route and we get you some touchdowns. And same thing with Juju Smith-Schuster. Like I said, you got both of them, like I said, as your wide receivers and a third wide receiver. And I really don't know. Their wide receiver core is pretty mid/low, really low. Then they got their running back room. They just acquired, like I said, as Tyler said, they're good at acquiring people. So they got Zeke Elliott back again, which is.
Well, that's not what I meant when I meant good at acquiring people. Zeke wasn't part of that.
Yeah. He's going to take the goal line work, maybe Stevenson, but other than that, like I said, Ramondre is going to be number one for sure. I guess I will move to the Dolphins. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know who the Dolphins. Like I said, they got the acquisition of Devin A-Chain and running back. The running back room is still pretty poor. Like I said, they were trying to see. They wanted Dalvin Cook, but he was asking too much. Maybe they go for Kareem Hunt. Maybe they try getting JT. It's just they want their running back room to be to help Tua out, help protect them. But it's mainly, like I said, they're running gun, like I said, wide receivers, like I said, speed. That's what they want. They said Jacob can be mad at me all he wants to, but I feel like that's all that they have. Then I guess I'll move over to the Bills. The Bills, like I said, their main problem is who's wide receiver number 2. Like it's going to be Dalton Kincaid. They're going to have Dawson Knox in the inline tight end. As they said, they're going to run a lot of 2 2 tight end sets this year, most likely. So Dalton Kincaid is going to be out there in the slot. He's going to be your big slot man. And then the Jets, like I said, the Jets also acquired, like I said, Dalvin Cook, so they got weapons along with whatever, like I said, Aaron Rodgers brought with him from Green Bay. He brought all his teammates that he wanted. He was like, get these guys, come over here. And he signed all of them. But I'd still say, in my opinion, I think the Jets are going to come and win this year.
Very, very fair assessment. While we're on the AFC East, can we talk about something real quick? I want to put somebody on bust watch. Man. Let's talk about Devon Achane for a little bit. The speedy boy from Texas A&M. Well, he's not a boy; he's a grown-ass man. He'd probably beat my ass if he heard me say that. But the speedy man from Texas A&M. You know, I feel like there was not a better place for him to go systematically in the NFL than the Miami Dolphins, because you know, they're going to be creative and find ways to get him the ball. But I don't know if y'all have ever actually gone and watched him play college football. Like, the man, every hole he ever ran through, like, obviously we don't have access to like all 22 style film, so I'm not going back and like breaking every single rundown between the tackles and seeing how patient he is as a runner and stuff like that. But if you just go watch what is available on YouTube, every run that he has that is a touchdown is him running through a big ass lane, and it's just a massive hole where he doesn't have to make any kind of moves. There's no tackles that need to be broken. He's just fast as shit. So he just, and he gone, because he's Devon Achane, you know, he's got the speed. So that's somebody that I'd like to put on bust watch for the NFL, because I feel like he's being drafted very highly in a lot of fantasy football leagues, and people are expecting a lot of big things from him. But I don't know. There's only so much Mike McDaniel can do to scheme his ass open if you can't actually break tackles or anything. And not saying that he can't do it. I'm just saying you didn't really see it a lot in college. So it's somebody I'd like to put on the bust watch list. Had to get that out there.
I would agree.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I stay away from that backfield. I don't like it, especially. I mean, we know they try to go after Dalvin Cook. They try to go after JT. I mean, that says something. That ain't nothing.
And you know, there's also going to be maybe a point in the season to where they do make a move for running back, just because they didn't get something done in the preseason or, you know, in the off season. Doesn't mean that they aren't necessarily looking to upgrade if things aren't going the way that they're hoping. Who knows? Yeah, I don't think he really fits the scheme that they're running, but maybe further in the season, the Tennessee Titans decide, you know what, we're not going to win anything. Maybe it's time to get this Sir Henry. Maybe it's time to ship him off, and somebody comes and knocks
Get whatever they can.
Yeah. Never know, man.
That would be fucking fun. Derek, that's why you'll be offense. Holy shit.
Ooh. Oh, even thinking about that.
I think Derrick Henry and literally any other offense would be fun. I'm tired of seeing him on the Titans, honestly.
It's cool that he gets the rock so much in Tennessee, because they're just smashing their head against the wall, running the ball so much. But like, yeah, it would be kind of cool to see him. Like, what could he do if they put him in a 2023 offense where we're spreading the field out and got him in the backfield with light boxes? That'd be kind of fun.
Ooh, all that space, dude. Or if they do decide to fucking, like I said, stack the box and, you know, guard against, like I said, Derrick Henry, like I said, that means wide receivers are going to have fucking field days, man.
Yeah, you can't stack the box.
You can't do it. Yeah, you cannot. Dude, that would be fucking ridiculous. I can't. Oh, shoot, that's maybe who they need to go with. Like I said, trade for King Henry.
Never know, man. I do know you cannot trust that backfield, and I'm not going to touch anybody fantasy football-wise until proven otherwise. All right, anybody else have something to add before we end it out here?
Nope. I got Eagles versus Chiefs rematch in the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah. We go over that. I got to look for somebody to host anyway, so let's go over that. Who do y'all think, conference-wise, is going to be competing for the AFC to represent them in the Super Bowl?
Oof. Give me a second. Let me think about this. Like,
I want to say Bills. Like, I really want to say Bills. I know I just said Chiefs. That was a joke, but I want to say it's either the Bills or the Bengals. I think they've kind of been creeping towards just so close, just haven't gotten it there. But I think finally they put it together. And someone has to win MVP. That's not Patrick Mahomes. And I definitely think it comes from the AFC. I think Joe Burrow or Josh Allen definitely.
I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think so. I think Patrick Mahomes is going to be MVP. He's number one. He's ranked number one at the top NFL 100. It's going to be hard. Like I said, Joe Burrow and Josh Allen are going to have to ball out in order to try to take the crown away from the king. I said Patrick Mahomes is the king. I think Trevor Lawrence is the prince.
Your knees, man.
Hey, I like myself some good quarterbacks. That's what I'll say. Sure. Like I said, Patrick Mahomes is the king. Trevor Lawrence is the prince.
That's fair. Fair. Yeah, I think, I don't know, if the Jets make the offensive leap that we think they're capable of, I think the Jets could be in the conversation for the AFC as a whole. But, it's going to depend on Aaron Rodgers, man. Aaron Rodgers didn't quite look like himself last year. So, what Aaron Rodgers are we getting? Are we getting that prime, unstoppable, in the most talented quarterback of all time conversation? Or are we getting maybe semi-washed up A-Rod, Never really know until the season starts. We'll see where he belongs.
So I think he just needed a change of space, though, too. I think that's what he was wanting for a long time, and he finally gets it now. So I think he also will. So I said my top five, or for at least a championship, I'd say Chiefs, Bills, Jets, Jaguars, and Bengals. Those are mine.
Those are your what? Making the playoffs or compete for a chip? I mean, damn, 6-7.
Compete for a chip, yeah.
Jeez. Yeah, the AFC is pretty fucking stacked. So
it's stacked, man. It's kind of hard.
It wouldn't surprise me if one of those teams just has that magical run. Sometimes that's all it takes. It's just a team to everything to click. It happens with Eagles in 2017. We had Nelson Aguilar fucking have a career year. It just takes everybody clicking, and then boom, you're making the Super Bowl.
That's true. That is true. You can't ever predict it, man. We'll see how it goes. We got 4 days until the season kicks off with the Chiefs and Lions on Thursday Night Football. So, yeah, everybody's looking forward to that. It's going to be a long but fun week because we all know towards the end we're going to be getting football back. So, with that being said, I think we've hit on just about everything that we're trying to hit on. So, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Thank y'all, everybody, so much for watching. Appreciate all of you being here. If you did enjoy the conversation, make sure that you hit that follow button. Make sure you go follow the YouTube, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. Make sure you go hit us up on all the platforms, man, because we're working on a schedule. Not 100% sure when we're going to be streaming and stuff during the season, but for sure there's going to be one on Sunday and maybe an episode or two during the week. Who knows? We'll see where things take us. But thank you all so much, everybody, for being here. It's football week, baby. Football's back. Regular season action. Let's go.
And it's Labor Day weekend, too. Ooh.
And it's Labor Day weekend. We're going to go ahead and ship it on out. There's nobody to host. There's 12 people in the podcasting section, and they're all streaming weird stuff. So we're not hosting shit. Thank you all for being here. Love you.